And right here in my hand, I just got what the jury found. So let's get that right now to you. The jury found that Meta and YouTube are liable, both of them, on all charges. They then voted to award $3 million in damages, 70% responsibility given to Meta, 30% given to YouTube. Certainly more to come on this story. So now
that is breaking news right now that the social media trial downtown in Los Angeles has come to a conclusion, and the jury is rewarding damages to people who are seeking them against Meta and YouTube about damages happening to their family because of social media. We'll get into the details of that another time on the show, but it's a great opportunity to take a moment and to recognize how serious the threats are to your children and to you because of social media. And often the parents are on their phones and staring at screens just as often as anybody else. With me to talk about it is Bret Eckelberry. He's the managing editor at PluggedIn.com. PluggedIn.com. Plugged In is by Focus on the Family. It reviews the world of popular entertainment and gives families essential tools they need for things just like this, about movies, social media, YouTube, all of that kind of stuff, TVs, video games, all of that. Go to PluggedIn.com to get some great information for you and your family. Bret, welcome to the Pastor Scott Show.
Hey, Scott, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you know what? It's great having you on. This is a big deal, this subject. And one of the things that you do at Plugged In is not just tell people what's on the social media and all of those things that their kids are looking at, but also why it's important to get off of it for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. We do a lot of research each year. There's more and more research coming out every year as to the effect of screens, social media, on kids, on adults as well. So we try to keep abreast of that and relay that information to our users.
One of the things that comes out in this trial, but it also comes out in all of that research, is that social media has algorithms. Algorithms are basically the computer program that makes sure that you're getting what content they think you want to keep watching, and different tools to make sure that you have a difficult time stop watching your social media. Why? How does that work? How does an algorithm, cause people to become addicted or just stuck in their social media?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you definitely touch on kind of the basic of it. The algorithm is designed to continue to give people what they want, what they're looking for. And the result of this is people in the social media space, especially, kind of get stuck inside this echo chamber, right? Where they're only hearing opinions, different things through social media that is kind of reaffirming whatever belief they've held. So if you've had an experience where you've talked with someone on social media and you just wonder, wow, I cannot believe that we are just so opposed on this topic, and they might be as surprised as you are. It could be because of that algorithm continuing to just try to feed people, put them in that echo chamber, feed them exactly they want to hear, ultimately to keep them on the platform. We were reminded that these social media companies are businesses first and foremost, and they make their money by keeping people on the platforms. So that's why this algorithm exists. It's to continue to feed people what they want so they'll come back and continue to make that business model profitable for these big tech companies.
And it seems like the way it also works is that you don't realize that you are in a way being manipulated this way, right? As the user, you're not aware of it.
Yeah, exactly right. It's definitely very behind the scenes, under the radar. We started hearing a little bit more about this, I think, on a mainstream level a couple of years ago when a documentary came out called The Social Dilemma. You might have heard of it. Actually had individuals who had worked in these tech companies who had developed these algorithms talking about how they've built that kind of underlying structure in social media, and a lot of them have regrets for doing that now.
Maybe they're going to regret it a little bit more if these lawsuits go through. There's actually thousands of cases that are going to work their way through the courts now about this. But in the meantime, as parents, grandparents, maybe teachers who've got kids using the phones in the schools and stuff, which they're getting rid of in so many cases, what are some things that we can do to help families and help kids understand that they're being manipulated as well?
Yeah, I think it's just keeping them aware of kind of the purpose of these social media tools. Here at Plugged In, we really want to encourage discernment, not only for parents, but we want to help parents teach their kids discernment in a lot of ways. What is a piece of media trying to tell you? What is the kind of underlying purpose of a social media app or website, right? So I think that having those open, honest conversations, even encouraging your kids to think critically about the things that they're using and consuming, really, will go a long way. You might be surprised. Your kids actually might identify some of these things that you hadn't even thought of.
Yeah, and you shouldn't think your kids are too young to understand or talk to them. They're probably ahead of where you are on this in some ways.
Yeah, exactly. And we've actually seen younger generations, some younger generations like Generation Z, get some flack for being kind of exclusively a screen generation, right? They've
Mm.
literally grown up with social media, with smartphones. But there are some members of Gen Z that are really pushing back on this in some really interesting ways, moving to dumb phones instead of smartphones, right? Intentionally trying to disconnect. So there's been some positive development, and I do think sometimes parents might be surprised at the discernment that their kids are developing on their own as well. We need to continue to guide them in the right direction as parents.
You're listening to the Pastor Scott Show. My guest is Bret Eckelberry with PluggedIn.com, which is a great resource for parents, grandparents, and kids to let you know what's going on in the world of screens, social media, and movies and television and YouTube and everything that you might be looking at. A rectangle, like my wife likes to say. She'll point out, Christy will point out that sometimes we're all just staring at our rectangles. And why are we doing that? We got a big rectangle on the wall, and there's iPad-shaped rectangles, there's computer-shaped rectangles, and then there's the one we carry in our pocket. And they're great tools, but they're also very dangerous because they take us away from each other. They take us away from the life skills that normally we would have. And one of the things you do at Plugged In is you help us understand all of these different issues. What are some tools that are great for families that you offer?
Yeah, well, pluggedin.com is our always free, always available resource that provides full content reviews for any piece of entertainment we work hard to cover, as you mentioned at the top of the show, movies, TV, games, books, even YouTube channels, to provide content reviews for individuals and families so they can read it and then make a decision for themselves based on their own convictions, what they think might be right for them. In addition, we offer a few other resources centered around technology. We release a plugged in parents guide to technology every year to keep parents kind of aware of the new changes that are coming out in the world of technology because, as we know, it changes a lot and it changes very, very fast. And then an initiative that we're doing right now and throughout the rest of the year is the plugged in screen fast, which specifically encourages people to set aside their personal screen time and reinvest that time with their relationship with God, with family, and with friends.
You know, that's an interesting thing to do, to tell your family and your kids to stay away from the screens for a period of time. A screen fast is what you're calling it. And you can find that actually at pluggedin.com and just search for the screen fast. It's on there. And there's a great resource. So I opened up the resource and I kind of had to smile because this is what it says in the beginning. Okay. And I'm smiling because as a parent of two teenage boys, I can understand how this might go over. Strategies for screen fast success. What is it? Plugged In is encouraging you and your family to cut down on unnecessary screen use for a full week. That's the fast, a whole week. What does that mean? That says no video games, no television, no movies, no YouTube, no unnecessary social media, no video shorts or reels, even by those plugged in puts out. Uh, and yes, if you have a family emergency, and yes, if you have to do it for school, right? Sometimes you can't avoid it; it's work. But you know, I think about that and the looks of horror that have come on my family's face before, my kids, when we've said, "No, we're not taking any of the electronics on our vacation, and for a week, you're not going to have it." Um, you know, I think that maybe some parents listening are going to say, "I don't want to say that to my kids. It's going to create chaos in my house."
Yeah, and it's something we're well aware of too. Even when we were writing it, I mean, we had to kind of check ourselves too. Of okay, if we're gonna ask other people to do it, we're gonna have to commit to this as well. And it can be a hard thing because, frankly, we've all built those habits over the years to turn to screens to fill up the spaces of downtime in our life, right? And for younger generations, as I mentioned earlier, who have grown up exclusively with screens at least being available in their life, whether or not the level that they've been using them. It can be a big ask, but we wouldn't be asking it unless if we thought that there was some really, really good benefit to it. A week is a long time, but we've suggested a week because generally when a family does a screen fast, it's near the end of that week when they really start to see the benefits of stepping away from technology, not letting technology control their lives, really seeing those benefits start to manifest that can result in longer term changes.
Yeah. My kids, whenever we've done this, they are not excited about it at all in the beginning. And they try to negotiate time. Can you limit the time? What about these things? And I like it in your list that you separate YouTube out, because for some reason in the mind of people, YouTube's different, and it's not. It's one of them being sued right in this lawsuit here in L.A. And maybe people don't realize that YouTube used to be you upload your silly family video and then you laugh and how cool is that? But now it's just like every other social media with shorts and reels and everything else going on. But my kids have told us reluctantly that they've benefited from that time off at the end. They have actually said, my youngest son, who he's turning 14 this week, he said to me last time, and actually last time he was just in trouble. So he didn't get any screen time for 2 weeks. And he actually thanked me, and he actually said, we should do this once in a while just because. I was floored that he said that. Now
That's incredible.
He might deny that right now because he doesn't want to do it. But he actually thanked me for that time off, and you could see it in his personality. You could see his life, and we restrict it pretty much a lot anyway. We use the parental controls and all of this. They don't really spend a lot of time, and even just that little bit of time, he noticed a difference.
It doesn't take much to build a habit. And I think what you're speaking to is backed up by some of the research that we've seen as well. One study that actually they interviewed teens, the teens self-reported, 75% of those teens self-reported that they actually felt peaceful or happy without their phones. Now, getting over the hump is hard. When you're addicted to something, when you've built that habit, just getting over that and breaking that can be very, very difficult, and you really don't want to do it. But when you have a little bit of space, just like you said with your son, a little bit of space for self-reflection, seeing kind of the change in your own life, you really see a difference. And some of these, especially younger generations, again, are acknowledging that.
And I think they feel a difference, right? It's hard to put your finger on. But in the same way that the algorithm is messing you up, being away from it is relieving some of that pressure and whatever's going on in your brain.
Absolutely. Other studies have indicated that around 2 or 3 plus hours, anything over that on social media, really begins to have a deteriorating effect on your mental health. So, if you're a kid and you give up social media, or you have to give up because your family is doing a screen fast, that's going to be a felt impact, as you mentioned.
Yeah. And so I would say to parents, you know what, tough it out. Your kids will complain for a day or two, but it dies down, and they start to enjoy other things like the sun, going outside, you know, things that they've hardly seen before, trees, birds. It's amazing how much of the world is going on when your face is out of your phone.
It's amazing what's out there. And now you mentioned the ScreenFast resource that we provide just a little while ago, and I will mention, we're not asking people to do this ScreenFast and cut out phones, cut out TV screens, and then just watch the paint dry on the wall. That's the surest way that someone's going to go back to their screen, right? If they are bored out of their skull, what they know is going back to the screen. I feel it too. So the key is, if you've heard of replacement theory, it's not just giving something up, it's filling that time with something else and something better. So in our resource, we actually include daily devotionals. We include some informational stuff on mental health, other things as well, and we include activities that can be used to replace the time that you would be on your screen. And ideally, these are activities that you can do with your family or your friends, getting outside, playing board games, reading a book, just lots of different things, lots of different ways. Families are welcome to pick and choose those activities. Some might appeal more to them than others, but it's just to help families get a start so they don't set down their phone, look around, and think, okay, what do we do now?
That's right. This is the Pastor Scott Show. My guest is Bret Eckelberry from PluggedIn.com. PluggedIn.com is focused on the family's resource for all things media, books, TV, video games, social media, all of that. It's a great resource. We'll tell you more about that in a moment. Plus, they offer some great free resources that you can download. One of them is the Screen Fast Survival Guide, as you call it. So let me throw this in there. We're talking about kids, but the truth is that at the same time, parents or guardians have to do a screen fast also, right? You can't just
Yes,
say, "Oh, you guys are
I
off your
think
phones," and now I'm on my phone scrolling the whole time, and you're watching me do that.
right. I think we see this a lot in just a lot of parenting things, right? One of the best things you can do as a parent is lead by example. And the screen fast is going to be no exception to that. So if you want your kids to participate in a screen fast, do it with them. Make it a family effort, right? We are doing this together as a family. We are suffering together, if you want to look at it like that. We are doing something worthwhile together. So lead by example, and that'll go a long way with your kids. And at least they can say, hey, I'm not the only one who's being made to do this. This is not a punishment.
Mm.
My family believes that this is something worthwhile. That's why we are doing it together. That's why the parents is doing it with me. Another study that found that teens actually reported that 50% of teens reported that they have actually had instances where their parents have gotten distracted by their phones when they've had a conversation with them. So for parents to put down the phone as well and reinvest in their kids, that's going to go a long way.
And kids know it. They understand if mom and dad are being hypocrites, right? They totally get. They may not say it. My kids say it, but I think some kids just sort of internalize it. It's like, oh yeah, you tell me not to do it, but you're doing it all day. They notice. They're not unaware. And for parents, we find out that it's good for us too.
Absolutely. This is something, again, this is why we encourage families to do this together, or even just individuals. You are going to see benefits from this, right? We
Yeah.
weren't designed to spend our lives, as your wife says, staring at those rectangles all day. There's a reason why when we get outside, there's health benefits with going outside and taking a hike, right? Or doing things together in community. That's how God designed us. We're designed for that community, and to be able to break out of the grip of technology. We're plugged in. There are a lot of things we love about technology. It's a fabulous tool in some ways. But when it goes overboard, and that gets back to what we were talking about earlier about the algorithms intentionally trying to keep us locked in, even beyond maybe what we originally came to that social media side or that website for. Um, it's it's very important to really step away and even just feel like you have that ability to break away from kind of the screen dominance in your life.
Yeah, this is a great resource. Bret Eckelberry from PluggedIn.com. Bret, how do people get this resource, the Screen Fast 2026 Survival Guide?
Absolutely. So people can go to pluggedin.com/screenfast. That's pluggedin.com/screenfast. That'll take you to a landing page with a sign up form. It's completely free. You just give your name and email address, and you will get the Screenfast Survival Guide emailed to you right away.
I did that earlier, got it right away, and I'm impressed with it. Sometimes you download the free thing, and it's like 2 pages that somebody did on ChatGPT, and it's
Sure.
not worth it. This is really great. This is a great resource, and my encouragement for parents is do it. And your kids are going to be grumpy the first or second day, and then they're going to enjoy it, and you're going to enjoy that. And find some things to do together. Shared experiences. That's something that we're missing in our society and our families so often. Uh,
Couldn't agree more.
yeah, Bret.
We really believe in this, and we really believe in the benefit that families are going to see from it.
Yeah, Bret, real quick, we have about a minute left. Tell us more about pluggedin.com and what parents and grandparents and everybody can find there.
Yeah, pluggedin.com is focused on the family's media discernment wing. So, what that is in practice is we watch a lot of movies, TV, read a lot of books, play games, check out YouTube channels. Um, there's a lot of stuff out there. So, we check it out and we do a comprehensive review. It's always free, always available for people to go on if they're looking for a movie coming out. I'll give you an example. The Super Mario Galaxy movie is a big movie that's coming out
Hmm.
in a few days. If parents are wondering, okay, what is the content that I need to be aware of? Is this movie right for my family? They can go there. You can find everything you need broken down in all sorts of content sections. That includes positive elements, spiritual content, violent content, and more. It's all there for you, all free for families to use as a discernment tool.
All of that's there at pluggedin.com. Bret Eckelberry, thank you for joining me today in the Pastor Scott Show.
Thank you, Scott.